social assignment is about recommender systems. So the papers introduce something is called trust. So trust is the new way to solve co to solve the cold start problems. All right, let's begin. So what is recommender system? Recommend system are complex artificial intelligence systems that are designed to provide a protection to users based on a preference. Um, so many popular e-com websites such as Amazon's, so they use recommended system to recommend items to for the users. So like these images I saw. So this is the screenshot I get from Amazon's. So when I think you are very familiar with that. So when you type the items and search the items, and after you look at the items description at the middle of section or the bottom section, you can see something like this. The customer who views this item also views. So this is the item that's similar to the item you enter. So this is the basically how the recommendation system work in those websites. So a lot of recommended system use collaborative filtering. So what is collaborative filtering? So collaborative filtering is the method in recommended system. So it filters information by using data from other users. So what does that mean? So it basically we use someone's data that to recommend items for you. So if you like book, for example, if you like book A and you want to looking for something else, uh, and the system will look at something related to book A. So if the system will find what is similar to book A, which means the system will find book B, book C, book D. And this book B, book C, book D are similar to book A. So if you look for the book A, the system will introduce book B, book C, book D to you. So basically just how collaborative filtering works. So the system will know what items based on your items you provide. So most of the websites like Amazon, YouTube, or Netflix use collaborative filtering. So let's get into the math, right? So in collaborative filtering, so what's the how's that work, right? Collaborative filtering. So what we do, they use the dot product, right? So dot product, you know what is dot product, right? So but dot product, so what they use this fancy terms called matrix factorization. What it does, just like the dot product. So they use two data frame, the data or they collect two data. So one is the item data. So for example, if this is movie A, movie B, movie C, movie D, right? And this is the user's data, like users A, uh, and information uh, about how the rating of the item. So if the users A rate this item 1.2 points, rate the second item point A. So this is the user A and the ratings, right? So this is just the items matrix. So if these uh, two matrix or two vectors multiply, or another word, dot product, you will get something like this, the big matrix, This is the big matrix called matrix factorization. So so the row is the users. Sometimes you can put the row you can put the columns as a user, but in this case, we put the row as a user with the items as a column. So the values, the box, which is the box, this box is the rating of each movies or each items, you can say. So if the user A rate movie W, for example A, or the user A rate the movie X 4.5, so the score 4.5, or rate Y 2.0. So this is just the matrix represents items and the ratings. So how does that work? So if we try to find some missing value on this table, right? We try to find. So if the user see 1, 2, so if that this is how recommendations work, right? The recommendation know uh, the user C watch movie X and movie Z, but he didn't watch movie Y, right? Movie Y he didn't watch. So but the user D watch movie X and movie Z, but and he also will watch movie Y because the movie C and movie D has similar, right? They're also similar. So the system will use the user D's information, so we introduce to introduce the movie Y to the user C. You see how it works? So this is like dot products. Alright, I think it's let's go to the next slide. However, the most of the recommend system has a problem, has something called cold start problem, right? Cold start problem, as just I mentioned in the previous. So there's some other problems like data spiraling, which is the data is very noisy, some data is very big, or sometimes there's a cold start problem. The cold start problem is the system doesn't know how to recommend items to the user. Um, let me give you an example, right? When we train a model, which is train the AI to the model is the recommended system, right? We train the AI to recommend item to the user. So when the users type in the book name, like or any item name, the AI or the model will predict the item based on whatever you put in the whatever you type, right? But what if the data you type, the system doesn't know what is the data? What you don't what you type? For example, if I train a model, we use the data from 10 years ago. If I type 10 years ago, if I type something new just released in last year, so the system doesn't know what it was, right? So that is cold start problem. The cold start problem can be three types. One is the use cold start, so which is that the new users enter the system. The system doesn't know what the users like. What was the user's preference, because the new user doesn't have any behavior, any patterns. They doesn't have any footprint in the system. Another one is the item cold start, which just I mentioned. When you enter new item to the system, the system doesn't know what's the new items, and doesn't. So the system that cannot find the most similar items based on the new items. And another one is system cold start. This system cold start is the system nobody use, and the system doesn't have enough information. It doesn't have enough information, so it doesn't provide any recommendation to the users. So what is the solution? There's many solutions. So one of the solution you can do is to use surveys to collect data from the users, right? To collect some new data from the users, from the new users. if the new, for example, if we encounter user code star, so we can just in the login page, after the login page, we can just provide some question bank to the user. Users need to answer those questions, and we can use those questions to generate what you like, right? Or in another way, we can also use meta learning. Meta learning, we can train the model to do multiple things, right? Like if even the user enters some item we don't know, but the data maybe can use some correlation from different from the small models and predict the outcome. So the conclusion, the general idea is to get more data. So when we have more data, we can recommend items. We can provide recommendations. So get more data is the main goal. So the paper I read is about trust aware. So what is trust aware recommend system? So in this papers, the authors introduce something called trust aware. So trust aware, what's trust aware? Trust aware is the new mechanism that integrate in the traditional recommender system. So often, so in the past, we just use rating to just the what thing I just mentioned. We use rating to calculate the similarity between users. So what I mean is that, so we use the item A uh, and find the similar item based on the item A. So we can introduce item B, item C, item D to the users. So this is the what's the rating part. But right now we add one more, add trust. So what is trust? Trust is something, it's the new mechanism. So we can use the trust to find the relationship between user and another user. So the the step is to look at the user's behavior, like the users look at, if the user A look and the user B uh, also they have similar behavior, like user A and user B has similar behavior. So we can just use this and create a trust, right? Trust A and B can make can it's a trust, right? A and B is like a connection, so we can create a trust between them, right? We can create a trust between user A and user B. So user A and user B has a trust. So we can assign a score like between each user. So if the user A trust user B, like if they use like they have similar behavior, similar preference, so they have like a trust score, right? If I trust you, you trust me, so they have like some kind of connection. We can use this to create a latent variable. What's a latent variable? Latent variable is the new feature we we apply to train the models. When we just create this, when we create a trust, we can just create a trust network. So we can just use this trust to calculate the trust matrix. So what was just calculate the similarity between each users, and based on the users and the ratings, we can provide a higher prediction to the users. Is that cool? Is that very cool, right? So the so how to so there's a two way to collect trust, right? One is the a specific way. So a specific way, just what I mentioned, just when the user log in the page, the system asks question, what you like, just provide some question bank to the user, provide some surveys to the user, and the system collect those information from the users and use that to create trust. And another way is the implicit trust. So implicit trust is a little bit complicated. So it look at the user between users. So if the user A and the user B collect certain pages, for example, if the user A go to Google and user B go to Google, so we can see this user A and user B has similarity, right? So we can just, if the user B want to find a similar item, we can just look at user A because they both lie to go to Google. We can use this connection information to find to recommend items between them. So this is implicit trust. So so all of those things is the way to solve one problem. This is code solve problem. Code solve problem. As I mentioned, code solve problem. Oh wait. Right, this is just I mentioned right, the conclusion. Trusted system are used to solve the code solve problem. So and so the shipping attack could not bias the suggestion of the recommended system. So this trust is a quite powerful way to solve the code solve problem. Okay, all right, thank you.